Hello and welcome to this episode of the Work in Progress podcast. With me, your host, Colleta Macharia. I am a life coach and author of the book, How to Design Your Career Game Plan. Today, I have the immense pleasure of recording this podcast away from the usual location, and I am serenaded by sounds of birds and crickets and farm animals, and it is such a pleasant experience. So I have been very encouraged by the story of one gentleman called Nehemiah. Now, this gentleman was not a prophet, neither was he a priest. He was a layman, like many of us. And his day job was cupbearer of the king of Persia during his time. Nehemiah led a group of people to Jerusalem, the capital city of Judah, to rebuild a wall that had been laying in ruins for many years, and Nehemiah was not comfortable with that situation. Now, Nehemiah and this group of people endured great opposition from within and from without while rebuilding this wall. 4 times, detractors came to Nehemiah and tried to convince him to stop the work that he was doing through messages that they sent him. But Nehemiah was very much aware of their intentions. The 5th time, the detractors included something else in their messaging, and this was a rumor-loaded letter that they sent to Nehemiah, but he was not fooled. The 6th time round, they tried to lure him to a certain destination, trying to make him feel like his life was in danger and that he needed to take cover. But Nehemiah said to them, I will not go. In fact, he said, should a man like me run away? Or should someone like me go into the temple to save his life? I will not go. He said that to them categorically. Nehemiah was as relentless in his rebuttals as they were in their trickery. As I read this story of Nehemiah, 4 things came to mind, and these were 4 different types of awareness that Nehemiah displayed, which, in my thinking, actually did contribute to his success. The first one is God awareness. Of one of his detractors, Nehemiah said, I knew that God had not sent him. So Nehemiah was aware of how God works, and he was aware of God's power over his enemies. And he asked God to strengthen him, not to take away the detractors or the opposition, but instead he asked God for strength to deal with them. He dealt with them very well with no excuses. The second kind of awareness that Nehemiah had was self-awareness. He was aware of the kind of man he was, because he said to his detractors that a man like me does not hide. The third kind of awareness that Nehemiah had was mission awareness. This is what he said, I am doing an important work. He did not use his day job as the king's cupbearer as an excuse to not do the work of rebuilding the temple that he had the conviction that he needed to be doing. He knew the big picture. He knew his why. The 4th kind of awareness that Nehemiah had was enemy awareness. He was aware of his enemy and all the tactics that the enemy employed. He knew that Tobias and Sanballat were after him, and he knew what they wanted. He had courage, he had determination, and he worked out of conviction, not out of convenience. In fact, at some point, Nehemiah and the people, it is said that they used one hand to do the work while the other hand, they were holding weapons just ready to face whatever opposition came to them. So, against all odds, Nehemiah and his group completed rebuilding the temple in a record 52 days. Now, what does this have to do with us? We may not be living in Nehemiah's time, but even in this day and age, we face different types of opposition. Whether it's the business environment or the work environment, there are certain things that we have to deal with, sometimes on a day-to-day basis. We all face different challenges as we go about our business, our work, and even our job if we are employed. And like Nehemiah, who was a layman, all right, we need to learn to stay put and stay focused. Business environments are often characterized by competition, opposition, and even imitation. You will find yourself facing at least one of these challenges, if not all three, at some point in your business or in your work. You might find yourself confronted by distraction, or threatened by procrastination, or even tempted by abdication. My encouragement to you is that let's learn from Nehemiah. Let us purpose to stay the course. Let us stay alert and stay focused and connected to our power source. Remember, he who began a good work in you will be faithful to complete in you. Nehemiah's situation teaches us how to put to practice this scripture in James 4:7. And this is what it says: "Submit yourself therefore to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you." I wish you a very pleasant and productive week and look forward to seeing you on the next episode. The Work in Progress podcast is brought to you by Cogent Afrique. Visit www.cogentafrique.com to check out learning and development opportunities for you, your team, organization, and family.